Moving right along, we come to time signatures. Check out the picture here. There's a 2 and a 4. That's the 2-4 time signature. And you might have guessed there are 2 beats. So let's go talk about that. The time signature is placed just to the right of the key signature. In this case, the key signature is no sharps, no flats, key of C. So we place the 2-4 time signature just to the right of where we would put sharps or flats. There's a number on top, and there's a number on the bottom. They're not fractions, although they behave somewhat like fractions mathematically. It's not 2 dividing by 4, but the upper note tells you how many beats are in a measure. That's 2 beats in one measure. The lower number tells you what kind of note gets 1 beat. In this case, 4 means quarter note. By kind of note, we simply mean half note, quarter note, eighth note, or 16th note, etc. It's unlikely that you'll find a 1 on the bottom, meaning whole note gets 1 beat. It could be done. Also, in theory, you could use 32, 64, 128 on the bottom in a time signature, but these are not practical. Starting with the most common time signature, we'll look at the 4-4 time signature. The top number is 4. What does that mean? It doesn't mean the number 4, but it means 4 beats. 4 beats in one measure. You've heard people count off 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the song comes in. They're giving you what is called a measure for nothing, so that everyone knows how many beats it is, and they all come in together on the next beat, which is going to be beat 1 again. And that'll be the first measure of the tune. So the top number 4 means 4 beats in a measure. The bottom number means quarter note gets 1 beat. The 4 is representative of a quarter of a whole note. 4 quarter notes in a 4-4 measure. But you say, where is the 4-4 sign? Where's the time signature? Well, it's really there. The C you're looking at, that fancy curvy C there, is a broken circle. In the old days, they used a circle to represent 3-4 time, which was considered perfect time. They broke the circle to represent 4-4 time, as it was seemingly less perfect. Why, I don't know. There might be some religious connotation of the Trinity embedded in there somewhere, but just take it for granted now that C means common time, which equals 4-4. And take a look. That C means the same thing as 4-4. Now, for 2 minutes, I want you to play 4 quarter note E's over and over, counting out loud. If your voice slows down or speeds up, then you are slowing down, dragging, or speeding up, rushing. It's time to get out the metronome and set it on 60. And remember, I said count out loud. So let's do this. We're going to play E, and you're actually now going to read completely rhythm, note, and naming the note. You know it's an E. And we're going to play at 60. And you're going to count out loud. Okay, set your metronome. That's 60 right there. And I'm going to count you in. And we'll repeat the measure a few times. So I'm counting you in, measure for nothing. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do that for 2 minutes. Now, if you start going 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, you're either slowing down or speeding up, which means you're not going steady. It's got to be clockwork. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get used to counting out loud. Don't say, well, no one's listening and I'm practicing here alone at home. And it doesn't matter if I say it loud, no one's going to hear me. It matters to you when you can count out loud in a steady, correct rhythm while you're playing. That way you will internalize it. And you'll understand really what the groove or the pulse is. 2/4 shows you a 2 on the top, telling you there are 2 beats in a measure. The 4 means that quarter note just get 1 beat. You can have 2 beats or 4 beats in a measure and still have quarter note as 1 beat. For 2/4 measures, you count 1, 2, 1, 2, etc. In this case, I put a repeat sign in blue just so you can understand what's going on here. That's a repeat sign, and it means go back to where you started and do it over again. You're only supposed to repeat it once, but for this exercise, I want you to do it definitely more than once. So practice looking at these notes. You know it's an E, and you know it's in 2/4, so you're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Don't be afraid to sit there and repeat it, and don't tell yourself, oh, it's just too easy, I don't need to work on this. Practice it. Now, if the top number is how many beats in a measure, how many beats are in this measure of this time signature? 3, of course. What kind of note gets 1 beat? Quarter note again. Now that you know to count every time, I'm placing numerals below as visual aids. You should still be saying it out loud while you count the numbers. Saying it will tell you if you're hesitating or not. Make sure the voice is consistent and steady in tempo. This play and count exercise will be introducing you to the accent. It's that little greater than sign that you've seen in math above each beat 1 in each measure. It means that you count that beat louder. You actually play it louder, but in this case I want you to count it louder as well. Here's where you see that the pulse is different than the beat. The pulse is really on every 3 beats. So let's try this one out now. 3/4 time. Measure for nothing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Practice that over and over. Get the understanding of what accenting is, and you'll get the idea of what the pulse is. So that's the basic exercise there. I just did it for you. You try it yourself now. So compound meter, when you divide notes in compound meter, you get the multiples of 3. We've been over that. So there's 6/8 time. We count what? How many beats to the measure? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, we could count it like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or we can accent and count in 2 groups of 3. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It helps, in this case, when you're counting in faster tempos, to use the groups of 3. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, and a 4, 1 and a 4, and a 1 and a 4, and a 1 and a 4, and a 1. So you can see the advantage of counting larger groups of notes, chunking them into 3s, and just mainly counting the 1 and the 4, which we can also turn into a 1 and a 2. 1 and a 2, and a 1 and a 2, and a 1 and a 2. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we go 1 and 2, and 1 and a 2. So try counting it like that and play the 1 and the 4 louder. Now, I'll play these notes along with you. G, F, E are the first notes. And then F, E, E in the second measure. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, practice that, and you're on your way to reading notes. So, there's not much difference in when we talk about 9/8 time as there was with 6/8 time. Just figure out what the meaning is. We go back, the top number means how many beats in a measure. So we have 9 beats in a measure, and the bottom tells us that the 8th note gets 1 beat, just like we did in 6/8 time. 8th note gets 1 beat, but we're going to group now larger groups in 3s. So we get 3 sections of notes. So you can count the 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or we can count them in 3s. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a. Am I losing you? I don't think so. I think this is pretty simple. So here's how it works. We're going to count these 9/8 measures. We'll do it slow. Let's count them as 9 beats the first time. All right, you remember these notes now? If you don't know these notes, the names of these notes and where they are in your guitar, go back to the other websites and learn these names. I'll tell you what they are. F, D, D, E, C, C, F, B, B, F, D, D, E, C, C, G, G, G. Okay? Nice and easy now. We're going to count first time as 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now we'll use the 1 and a 2 and a. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and try that a few times yourself and see how it works for you. Now 12/8 time, usually used in blues, counted in 4 groups of 3. No one's going to count really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You'll always most likely hear 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, boom, and you're back on 1. Let's count this simple blues lick as a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here's our key. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now that was a brief exposition of time signatures and not really a full explanation. And you may notice in this whole website that I'm not paying too much attention to rests. And you got to transfer the idea of notes into rests. They do the same thing, they function the same way, except you don't play anything. The idea is to get you to a point where you are not freaked out every time you see those numbers at the beginning of any sheet music. Okay, so next we're going to look at some possible ways to configure all these rhythms within certain time signatures. So we're starting to get into a little more complicated areas, but I think we'll be able to handle it, and I'll see you in that video. Take care.